General Thaddeus Winter stood before the massive holographic display, his weathered face illuminated by the pulsing red warning signals that filled the command center. The Nexus Collective's ships had breached Mars' defensive line, and Earth's final hour approached faster than anyone had anticipated. "Status report on Project Frost Guardian," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. Lieutenant Reyna Patel's fingers flew across her console. "All systems are green, sir. The quantum processors have completed their final calculations. We can begin the activation sequence on your mark." Winter closed his eyes briefly, the weight of humanity's future pressing down on his shoulders. 30 years of preparation, trillions in resources, and the combined efforts of Earth's greatest minds had led to this moment. Project Frost Guardian was humanity's ultimate insurance policy, a plan so audacious that only a handful of people knew its full scope. "Sir," Captain Victor Novak called out from his station, "Nexus vessels have breached Luna's orbital defense grid. Their main fleet will reach Earth in approximately 6 hours." Winter nodded grimly. "Begin the activation sequence, Lieutenant Patel." Authorization code, Winter Phoenix 793. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in facilities scattered across every continent, ancient machinery hummed to life. These weren't human constructions, they predated civilization itself, discovered decades ago in archaeological digs that had been immediately classified at the highest levels. The artifacts had been a mystery until Dr. Isabella Santos made her breakthrough 15 years ago. They weren't weapons or tools, but seeds, biotechnological templates left behind by an ancient race that had foreseen this very moment. As Winter watched the activation sequence progress, he remembered Santos's words, "They weren't meant to fight our battles for us. They were meant to give us the means to fight for ourselves." The facility shuddered as the first wave of energy pulses radiated from the ancient cores. Across the globe, 200,000 specially selected volunteers, soldiers, scientists, and civilians who had undergone years of preparation, began their transformation. "Quantum resonance patterns are stable," Patel reported. "Neural integration proceeding as predicted. First wave of enhanced individuals showing positive adaptation signs." Winter turned to his second-in-command, Colonel Jade Rivers. "Begin evacuation of all non-essential personnel to the deep shelters. We need to buy time for the transformations to complete." The colonel nodded sharply and began issuing orders, but her words were interrupted by a sudden alert from the planetary defense grid. "Sir." Novak's voice carried an edge of disbelief. "The Nexus fleet, they're accelerating. New estimated arrival time, 2 hours." Winter's jaw tightened. They needed at least 4 hours for the transformations to stabilize. "Deploy everything we have left. Every fighter, every orbital platform. We need to slow them down." As Earth's remaining defensive forces mobilized for their final stand, the ancient machinery continued its work. The volunteers' bodies and minds were being enhanced far beyond normal human limitations, but it wasn't just physical changes. The ancient race had encoded something else in their templates: knowledge, tactical insights, and understanding of technologies that humanity had never dreamed of. In his private thoughts, Winter wondered if humanity would recognize itself after today. The changes being wrought were fundamental, irreversible. But facing extinction, there was no other choice. "Sir," Patel called out, her voice filled with wonder. "The first wave, they're waking up." Winter turned to the biomedical feeds. The first transformed volunteers were emerging from their chambers, their bodies glowing with internal energy, their eyes holding knowledge that no human had possessed before. "General Winter," one of them spoke, her voice carrying harmonic undertones that seemed to resonate with the very air. "I am Sentinel Prime Lyra. We understand our purpose now. We know what must be done." Winter straightened his back. "Can you stop them?" Lyra's smile carried both confidence and something else, a hint of what humanity was about to become. "Stop them? No, General. We're going to change everything." As the Nexus fleet approached Earth, they had no way of knowing that they weren't facing the same humanity they had so easily pushed back from the outer colonies. In facilities around the world, an army of transformed humans prepared for battle, their enhanced bodies housing powers and knowledge that would rewrite the rules of warfare. The final protocol had been activated. Humanity's last stand would become humanity's greatest transformation. And as General Winter watched the first wave of Sentinels prepare for deployment, he realized that Dr. Santos had been right about one more thing: this wasn't the end of humanity. It was just the beginning. Sentinel Prime Lyra stood in the central chamber of Facility 01, surrounded by hundreds of newly awakened warriors. Their bodies pulsed with azure energy that flowed through intricate patterns beneath their skin, a visible manifestation of the ancient transformation. But it was their eyes that truly marked their change, depths of swirling silver that held centuries of inherited knowledge. The facility's quantum displays showed the approaching Nexus fleet, a swarm of biomechanical vessels that darkened Earth's orbit. Their primary weapon platforms were already beginning to power up, preparing for the final assault that would end humanity's resistance. Or so they thought. The knowledge flows stronger now, Lyra addressed her fellow Sentinels, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated with their enhanced physiology. We understand what we truly are, not just warriors, but bridges between what humanity was and what it must become. Through their shared neural network, Lyra could feel the others processing this truth. The ancient race that had left behind these transformation templates, they called themselves the predecessors, hadn't just given them enhanced bodies and advanced technology. They had given them a vision of what humanity could achieve. Sentinel Squad leaders, report status, Lyra commanded. Sentinel Marcus Drake, former quantum physicist, stepped forward. The transformation had turned his lean frame into a living weapon, but his mind had undergone even more dramatic changes. The quantum armor integration is complete. Each Sentinel can now generate personal defense fields capable of withstanding direct hits from Nexus energy weapons. The neural networks are fully synchronized, added Sentinel Kira Yamamoto, her hands dancing through holographic displays that only the enhanced could see. All Sentinels are connected to the tactical grid. We can coordinate with perfect precision. Commander Iris Kane, monitoring from the Strategic Command Center, watched the transformed warriors with a mixture of awe and concern. The volunteers had known they would be changed, but the scope of the transformation exceeded all projections. These weren't just enhanced humans, they were something entirely new. Sentinel Prime, Kane's voice came through the quantum comm, Nexus advance forces have breached the upper atmosphere. They're deploying ground units. Lyra nodded, accessing the tactical overlay through her enhanced senses. The Nexus were following their standard invasion protocol: establish ground control points, disable planetary defenses, then begin systematic elimination of resistance. They had used the same strategy to crush humanity's outer colonies. But Earth would be different. Sentinels, Lyra's voice carried to all transformed warriors simultaneously through their neural link, take your positions. Remember your training, but trust your new instincts. The knowledge within us has been waiting millennia for this moment. The warriors moved with impossible grace, their bodies flowing like liquid metal as they prepared for deployment. The transformation had given them abilities that seemed to defy physics: control over quantum fields, manipulation of energy at the subatomic level, and perfect integration with advanced technology that would have seemed like magic to their former selves. As the first wave of Nexus drop pods breached the clouds above major cities, humanity's enhanced defenders emerged from their underground facilities. They moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum armor adapting to their surroundings, their enhanced minds processing battlefield data at speeds that would have overwhelmed unaltered humans. In orbit, the Nexus fleet detected the energy signatures of the emerging Sentinels. Their tactical systems, programmed with data from countless successful invasions, struggled to categorize what they were seeing. These readings didn't match any known human technology. On the ground, Sentinel teams took up defensive positions around key population centers. Their enhanced bodies hummed with power, ready to unleash capabilities that humanity had never possessed before. Through their shared neural network, they could feel each other's determination, their collective will focused on a single purpose: survival. Lyra stood at the head of her team, watching the first Nexus drop pods crash into Earth's surface. The alien invaders emerged, towering biomechanical entities that had terrorized human colonies across the galaxy. Their armor bristled with weapons, their artificial intelligence cores calculating optimal attack patterns. But as they advanced toward the waiting sentinels, something unprecedented happened. The aliens hesitated. Their tactical systems were registering anomalies that didn't fit any known combat parameters. The beings before them registered as human, but also as something more, something their vast database of conquered species had never encountered. For Earth, Lyra's voice resonated through the neural network, carrying not just words but the accumulated knowledge and power of an ancient civilization that had prepared humanity for precisely this moment. Show them what we have become. The Sentinels moved as one, their quantum armor blazing with energy, their enhanced bodies channeling powers that rewrote the rules of warfare. The first battle between humanity's transformed defenders and the Nexus invasion force was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of human evolution itself. The sky above New Shanghai erupted in quantum fire as the first wave of Sentinels engaged the Nexus invasion force. Lyra led the charge, her enhanced body moving through space in ways that defied conventional physics. Around her, her fellow Sentinels executed combat maneuvers that no human military had ever attempted. The Nexus warriors, towering biomechanical entities, fired salvos of plasma bolts that could vaporize conventional armor. But the Sentinels' quantum shields absorbed the energy, redirecting it through the patterns that pulsed beneath their skin. What should have been a massacre became something else entirely, a demonstration of power that the invaders had never encountered. Pattern Sigma, Lyra commanded through the neural network. 200 Sentinels responded instantly, their movements perfectly synchronized. They formed geometric configurations in mid-air, their quantum fields interlocking. The knowledge inherited from the predecessors guided their every move. The Nexus forces adjusted their tactics, their AI cores processing the new threat. They deployed their elite shock troops, massive constructs that had broken through the strongest defenses of humanity's outer colonies. The ground shook as they landed, their weapon systems charging up. Through the neural network, Sentinel Marcus Drake's voice resonated with tactical data. Their energy signatures are fluctuating. They're attempting to adapt to our quantum fields. Then let's show them something new, Lyra responded. She reached out with her enhanced senses, connecting with the very fabric of spacetime that the predecessors had learned to manipulate. Execute Protocol Starburst. The Sentinels moved in perfect harmony, their bodies becoming conduits for forces that the human race had only theorized about before the transformation. The air itself seemed to crystallize as they manipulated quantum fields on a massive scale. Nexus warriors found themselves trapped in localized time distortions, their advanced systems unable to compensate. In orbit, Commander Kane watched the battle through enhanced satellite feeds. The tactical displays showed something unprecedented, the Nexus forces were being pushed back. For the first time since they had appeared at the edges of human space, the invaders were losing ground. But the Nexus collective wasn't easily defeated. Their hive mind processed the new threat and adapted. The larger ships in orbit began to descend, their massive forms casting shadows over the battlefield. They deployed a new weapon, one that had been held in reserve for only the most stubborn resistance. Reality itself seemed to warp as the Nexus ships unleashed waves of antimatter energy. The attacks weren't aimed at the Sentinels directly, but at the quantum fields they were generating. It was a calculated attempt to disrupt the very forces that gave the enhanced humans their power. Lyra felt the disruption ripple through the neural network. Several Sentinels staggered, their quantum fields fluctuating. But then something unexpected happened, the ancient knowledge encoded in their transformed DNA activated new protocols, ones that even they hadn't known existed. They're trying to destabilize our quantum matrices, Sentinel Kira Yamamoto announced, her enhanced mind processing the attack patterns. But look, our bodies are adapting. The predecessors, they planned for this. The patterns beneath the Sentinel's skin began to shift, forming new configurations. The antimatter waves that should have torn apart their quantum fields instead became fuel for something new. Each attack by the Nexus forces was being absorbed, analyzed, and countered by the evolving capabilities of the transformed humans. All Sentinels, Lyra broadcast, initiate convergence protocol. Let's show them what humanity has truly become. The defenders moved as one, their bodies radiating energy that defied conventional physics. The knowledge of the predecessors, combined with human creativity and determination, gave birth to tactics that had never been seen in the galaxy's long history of warfare. In orbit, the Nexus ships detected the growing energy signature. Their tactical systems, programmed with the experience of 1,000 successful invasions, could not categorize what they were witnessing. The enhanced humans were not just fighting back, they were evolving during the battle itself. The sky above New Shanghai became a canvas of impossible energies as Sentinels and Nexus forces clashed. But with each passing moment, the balance shifted. The invaders' weapons became less effective as the transformed humans adapted. Their tactical advantages, honed across countless conquests, meant nothing against an enemy that could change the rules of engagement. But as the battle reached its crescendo, something unexpected caught Lyra's enhanced senses. Deep within the quantum fields, in the spaces between conventional reality, she detected a pattern that shouldn't have been there. The Nexus forces weren't just fighting, they were transmitting vast amounts of data back to their fleet. Something's wrong, she broadcast through the neural network. They're learning too quickly, adapting too perfectly to our capabilities. It's almost as if. Her thoughts were interrupted by a massive energy surge from the Nexus flagship. The vessel's form began to change, its biomechanical structure reconfiguring into something that seemed hauntingly familiar. The patterns it was generating, they were identical to the quantum signatures of the Sentinels themselves. Through the neural network, Lyra felt a collective realization dawn among the enhanced humans. The truth about both their transformation and their enemy was about to be revealed, and it would change everything they thought they knew about their role in this cosmic conflict. The quantum field surrounding New Shanghai rippled with conflicting energies as both Sentinels and Nexus forces pulled back, each side reassessing their opponent. The massive Nexus flagship hung in the sky, its transformed structure now mirroring the same patterns that flowed beneath the Sentinel's skin. Lyra's enhanced senses detected something impossible. The quantum signatures emanating from the Nexus vessel weren't just similar to their own, they were identical. Through the neural network, she felt her fellow Sentinels growing unease as they processed this revelation. All units, hold position, she commanded, her mind racing through the inherited knowledge from the predecessors. There was something there, a memory buried so deep it had remained hidden until this moment. The Nexus flagship pulsed with energy, but instead of an attack, it broadcast a signal, one that resonated with the quantum patterns in every Sentinel's transformed DNA. Images and data flooded their neural network, carrying a truth that would shake the foundations of everything they believed. Impossible, Sentinel Marcus Drake's voice carried through the network. These records, they're showing the predecessors' final days. But it's not what we thought. Through their shared consciousness, the Sentinels witnessed the last moments of the ancient civilization that had given them their power. The predecessors hadn't left their legacy as a weapon against invasion, they had left it as a key to prevent history from repeating itself. The Nexus weren't invaders from another galaxy. They were the first attempt by the predecessors to ensure their species' survival, an attempt that had gone horrifically wrong. In their drive to perfect themselves, they had created two separate evolutionary paths, one organic, leading to the templates that would transform humanity, and one biomechanical, which had become the Nexus. The invasion wasn't an invasion at all, Kira Yamamoto realized, her enhanced mind piecing together the puzzle. It was a test. They've been pushing us, forcing us to activate the transformative potential they left within human DNA. Commander Kane's voice cut through their revelations. Sentinel Prime, we're detecting massive energy buildups in all Nexus vessels. Whatever's coming, it's happening now. The Nexus flagship's form continued to change, becoming something that bridged the gap between their biomechanical nature and the Sentinel's organic transformation. From its core, a figure emerged, a being that was neither human nor machine, but a perfect synthesis of both. Children of Earth, the being's voice resonated directly through their quantum field, you have proven yourselves worthy of the truth. We are the Guardians, those who watch over the predecessor's legacy. Your transformation is not complete, it was never meant to be a weapon, but a key to unlock humanity's true potential. Through the neural network, understanding dawned. The predecessors hadn't been preparing humanity for war, they had been guiding them toward an evolutionary leap that their own civilization had failed to achieve. The Nexus weren't meant to be humanity's destroyers, but their teachers, pushing them to unlock capabilities that would have remained dormant without the pressure of extinction. Your wars, your struggles, your very civilization, the Guardian continued, all have been shaped to prepare you for this moment. The predecessors saw in humanity what they had lost, the perfect balance between technological advancement and organic adaptation. Lyra stepped forward, her enhanced form resonating with the Guardian's presence. The outer colonies, all those lives lost, were preserved, the Guardian revealed. Each defeat was orchestrated to concentrate humanity's potential, to ensure that when the final transformation began, it would cascade perfectly through your species' genetic code. The sky above Earth filled with new energy patterns as the Nexus fleet revealed its true nature. What had appeared as weapons of war transformed into vast networks of quantum technology, designed not to destroy humanity, but to guide its evolution. But why? Lyra demanded, even as her enhanced consciousness began to grasp the scale of what was unfolding. Why not simply share this knowledge? Because true evolution cannot be given, it must be earned. Your species had to prove it could face extinction without losing its humanity. Only then could you be trusted with the power to shape reality itself. As if in response to these words, new sensations flooded the Sentinel's neural network. The quantum patterns in their transformed DNA began to shift again, unlocking abilities that dwarfed their previous powers. They weren't just connecting to each other anymore, they were connecting to the fabric of spacetime itself. Commander Kane watched in awe as energy patterns spread from the transformed humans, reaching out to touch every member of the human race. The final phase of the predecessor's plan was beginning, not the end of humanity, but its rebirth. Yet even as this revelation unfolded, warning signals flashed through the quantum field. The Guardian's form flickered, its energy patterns showing signs of instability. There is little time, it announced. What we have set in motion cannot be stopped, but there are forces in the galaxy that would prevent humanity's ascension. You must complete your transformation, before they arrive. The quantum field surrounding Earth pulsed with unprecedented energy as the transformation spread across humanity. What had begun with the Sentinels now cascaded through the entire species, guided by the combined knowledge of both the transformed humans and the revealed Guardians. But time was running out. Through the enhanced quantum network, Lyra detected them first, vast distortions in spacetime, heading toward Earth. The destroyers, as the Guardian had named them, were approaching. They were the antithesis of evolution, cosmic entities that sought to preserve the galaxy in stasis, preventing any species from achieving the transformation that humanity now underwent. They're breaching the outer solar system, Sentinel Marcus Drake reported, his enhanced senses tracking their approach. Their quantum signatures, they're like holes in reality itself. The Guardian's form stabilized momentarily, its energy synchronizing with the Sentinels. What comes next will determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of all conscious life in the galaxy. The predecessors failed because they tried to force their evolution down two separate paths. Humanity has the potential to unite them. Lyra felt the truth of these words resonating through her transformed being. The quantum patterns that had once seemed like mere tools of warfare now revealed their true purpose. They were bridges between different states of existence, between organic and mechanical, between matter and energy. Commander Kane's voice carried urgent news from Earth's surface. The transformation is accelerating. We're getting reports from every corner of the globe. People are changing, connecting to the quantum field. Some are afraid, but most say they understand what's happening. The destroyer's presence grew stronger, their void-like signatures threatening to unravel the delicate quantum web that now enveloped Earth. But as humanity's collective consciousness expanded through the transformation, something unexpected happened. The fear that should have accompanied such a fundamental change was replaced by understanding, then acceptance, and finally, purpose. All Sentinels, Lyra broadcast, her consciousness extending far beyond her physical form, initiate final convergence. The predecessors showed us the path, the Guardians tested our worth, but what we become now, that is our choice. The transformed humans moved as one, their bodies becoming pure energy as they merged with the quantum field. The Nexus forces, revealed now as their teachers and guides, added their power to the convergence. The barrier between organic and mechanical dissolved as humanity achieved what the predecessors could not, perfect synthesis. The destroyers struck with devastating force, their void-like presence attempting to nullify the transformation. Space itself seemed to scream as they clashed with the merged consciousness of humanity and their guardian allies. But instead of fighting the attack directly, the transformed humans did something unprecedented. They embraced it. We understand now, Lyra's consciousness resonated through the quantum field, addressing not just her fellow humans but the destroyers themselves. You're not our enemies. You're the counterbalance, the force that ensures only the worthy achieve transcendence. You're part of the same cosmic dance. The destroyer's assault faltered as humanity's transformed consciousness reached out to them, not in battle but in understanding. The quantum field rippled with new possibilities as the transformed humans demonstrated what they had become, beings capable of comprehending and accepting even those who sought to end them. In that moment of recognition, the final piece of the predecessor's plan became clear. It was never about creating the perfect warriors or achieving technological supremacy. It was about reaching a state of existence where such conflicts became meaningless, where understanding transcended opposition. The transformation completed not with a battle, but with an awakening. Humanity emerged as something new, yet fundamentally unchanged in their capacity for empathy, creativity, and growth. They had become beings of pure quantum energy when they chose, yet could return to physical form at will. They were one with their technology, yet maintained their individual consciousness. The destroyers withdrew, their purpose fulfilled. They had tested humanity's worthiness not through combat, but through the species' capacity to understand and accept even that which threatened them. The Guardians, their role as teachers complete, merged with the transformed humanity, sharing the last of their knowledge freely. Earth itself became something new, not just a cradle for human civilization, but a nexus point for a new kind of existence. The transformed humanity reached out to the stars, not as conquerors or mere explorers, but as guardians of evolution itself. They would find other species approaching their own moments of transformation and guide them as they had been guided, ensuring that life in the galaxy continued to grow and evolve. Lyra stood on the quantum plane between existence and energy, watching as her species embraced their new reality. The patterns that had once seemed like weapons now wrote poetry across the cosmos, telling the story of a species that had faced extinction and found transcendence. We are still human, she broadcast to all consciousness, everywhere. We have simply become what we were always meant to be, bridges between what is and what could be, guardians of possibility, protectors of potential. And across the galaxy, life continued to evolve, watched over by beings who remembered what it meant to face the void and find within it not death, but transformation. Humanity had not just survived, they had shown the cosmos a new way forward, one that united all paths of evolution into a single, endless journey of discovery and growth.